Hello, everyone, and welcome to this bonus NASS episode. I am your host for this episode, Jose.
I'm your other guy, George.
You said that was such a Jose. Well, I am Marie.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
now I
feeling
feel like I didn't
fancy
do my name
today.
right. When
I had to throw the
Yeah,
accent in
Jorge.
there. I'm feeling fancy.
I am Jorge Luis.
Yes.
Well, and today, if you can't tell by actually, there's nothing that we did that will give you a hint to this. We will be covering Alien Earth, episode 8, actually, the finale of the first season. We've previously covered the other episodes. We did 1 through 3 as a bundle, and then we did all the other ones individually. You can catch them all on our Not a Strong Start channel. So check it out there if you have not. Marie and I also did a preview early on before the series started. You can also find that there. Now, before we get into the nitty gritty of this episode, I have a question for you guys. All right, we're gonna do like one of those things where we hit the end first before we rewind and kind of go through everything. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys in one word, how do you feel about this episode? One word. Oh, you could do 2 words. We'll give it a leeway, but that's it.
One or two words to describe this episode alone.
Yeah, how
You said
you
one
your
one
feeling
word.
towards it. Your feeling towards it.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, but ask me with that inflection.
Okay. Oh,
Okay,
okay.
okay.
Marie, I can feel the fumes coming. What's your 1 or 2 word?
Oh, I get to do two. Okay.
One or
So
two,
my
but
first
by
word.
two I mean it can be like a 2 word phrase.
Yeah,
Okay.
like fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck that. Um, no thanks. All those, but I was gonna say I'll try to be a little bit nice and gentle and just say underwhelming.
Okay. Underwhelming.
That's a
If
better word. I
I,
like that. Can I have that word too?
yeah.
You can, yes, definitely. We can share.
If I had to say one, I would say let down.
That was my first choice in my brain, and then I went to underwhelming. Yeah.
I feel like I see we're all on the same page though.
Okay.
Oh, I love it.
See, I
Really?
wanted to,
Yes.
yeah, I want to throw that out there as a way for us to kind of get our overall thought out there right off the bat without getting into detail. Now we're going to see why these phrases apply to us as we go through this episode.
And spoil the
So,
crap out of everything.
yes.
Yes.
So thank you, George, for the reminder. We will be spoiling everything. We're going to get into the details of it. So if you have not watched it, you should not be watching this episode right now, unless you're one of those that just doesn't care about getting things spoiled. Me personally, I'm not one of those. So I like to give this warning. So if you have not watched it, feel free to put us on the save to watch later, and then you can come back to it and see if you feel the same way. If you agree with us, you don't agree with us. Now, when we start this episode, we kind of get an idea of the island is in shambles. We start seeing a lot of the aftermath of what happened in that last episode. So we see Arthur's decomposing body already. So which already told me some time has passed. We see that. We see the xenomorph adventures out in the wild, kind of going around, leaving body counts left and right. We see the hybrids all contained within one unit, and that's kind of what we start this episode. Just seeing since we ended last time where everything has ended up. The first bit of dialogue that we start getting in this episode and story progression is within that containment unit with the hybrids. George, you want to talk a little bit about that scene?
All of our hybrids are now caged up, including Curly, by the way, which introduces the conversation of, well, how did they all get put there? There's a speculation of like, well, someone ratted us out, and it had to be her. And even within this group, Jose,
Yes,
you had said she ratted them out.
she did.
I had speculation that she didn't. And I think this episode proves that because she states it. She's like, I didn't rat them out. It's
She
like, if
did
I
not.
ratted you guys out, why would I be in here?
She did.
It would make no sense. He's like, no, doesn't matter. Girl's a bitch. She ratted them out.
Yeah. Has anything made sense? Has most things haven't made sense in this
No.
series anyway. So it's like,
Now
No,
I have
but
my thought on that, but go ahead, continue.
yeah, yeah. Well, I think they had evidence that showed where they were all going to be and everything, within like the computer stuff and all that bullshit. But they have the dialogue, and now there's mistrust amongst them. They're starting to turn on Curly. Curly's defensive, and she's left not understanding. Why am I here? I thought I was the favorite. I thought that I was the chosen one. I shouldn't be here with the rest of y'all. And as this bickering's going on, we have Wendy really kind of like figuring things out and realizing where they are on this food chain, where food does not connect to them in any kind of way because they are above it all. And she starts to realize like we're not the ones who need to be afraid of anything. They need to be afraid of us. We're the threat here, which we've been seeing through this whole season. That we've been waiting for this moment where it's like they're gonna realize like we're stronger and better than you guys. Why are we taking orders from any of you? Why are we listening to any of you at all? And now the uprising pretty much begins from here.
And I agree. This was the scene of realization, and we've touched on multiple times throughout this series, whether it's shows of strength or shows of whatever, it's just them not really realizing what they are and what they're capable of. And this seemed like the scene where they were finally like, wait a second, like we're the magnifying glass, they're the ant. Like, what are we doing here? Um, I still feel she snitched. Maybe not, maybe inadvertently snitched. She could have confided in the therapist as to what was going on, not in her mind thinking she was snitching and the information came out. That might not be the reason they were found, because also Hermit, and we talked about, is a terrible spy in this. And I'm sure he alerted everyone as to what was happening during that. But
Plus,
I
we
still
get the
think she's
scene
it.
where when all the units are shut down, they can't track them. They figure out it's like if we can't track them, what the hell's going on? Where is everybody? So that
Yeah.
there is a bit of that going on where they're probably checking. This is assumption, but I think it's good assumption to assume that they probably looked at the cameras to see like everyone just freaking ran away.
Yeah, and I thought it was good here to see that interaction. Because we had that scene earlier in the series when they were all around the table, and we started seeing signs of all the hybrids not being on the same page regarding wanting to be there or family or not family. And we saw that like around the little like picnic table thing that they were having with Hermit there. So we kind of see that again, them not being on the same page, but through this conversation, kind of uniting in one cause by the end of like this scene. Marie, what were your thoughts in seeing this interaction with the hybrids and then coming to that realization?
Okay, first let me preface something before I start talking about this episode at all. I'm going to be coming from somewhere mostly from emotion and not using my brain, but my heart. Also, I am the woman here, and Jose, you and I have had conversations about this before about how men can compartmentalize things
Mhm.
and women more look at the whole big picture. So the whole big picture taints my ideas of everything about this show because of how I feel about the whole thing, and it's hard for me to like take each little bit and like separate them. Anyway, that I just want to preface this and how I feel about everything and how everything's going to come out of my mouth. There might be a lot of passion and whatever. But this scene, it's interesting because when you said like, oh, at first it's like they're not sure what they're capable of and now they are realizing, wait a minute, we have more strength. So it's it's funny how the show, I guess they figured like let's put child brains in these machines that are unstoppable because they're not going to realize how strong they are, I guess. But like if a little kid, like, you know how dangerous that is? Little kids who don't know right from wrong that much, haven't grown up to know shame or like reason or anything like that. It's like obviously this is bound to happen. Like it's bound to happen. And we all know it's going to happen because like it's the show. But that whole discussion was fine. I guess some of the dialogue was like, but yeah, I knew we all know it's like, okay, here it comes. Finally, they're gonna be like, we can kick some ass, we're tough. They told us, but it was okay. It was an all right scene. The whole thing
Yeah.
though, I was just kind of like, okay, get on with it.
Yeah. And regarding that, I've seen, I used to work in the behavioral field. I worked with kids all different ages and families, and I saw incidents sometimes where you had I worked with some teenagers who had heavily outgrown their parents. Maybe were like almost double the size of their mom or their dad and tower over them. But somehow the mom still had like the control and the respect, and
Oh
like the
yeah.
cares were like terrified of them. When
Yeah.
physically they can probably, toss them around with ease. So like that inner perception is very important. And I feel like it's Wendy was stepping out of it a little bit sooner than everyone else, but a lot of them, that inner perception is they did still see themselves as kids even though they weren't in here, so they were afraid of everyone else, which plays into Wendy's line of like, we're not the ones that need to be afraid. So I think it worked for what we were going to start getting the rest of the episode, which at this point Wendy goes on the offensive after she says that line, and she starts pretty much toying with everyone, using the cell as her control room. And she starts getting into the system, which we've seen glimpses of her being able to do that before with Prodigy systems. And she starts doing that. She starts cutting off communication between Kirsch and Cavalier. So she's isolating people in that way. She starts emotionally torturing Dane. Yeah, she starts emotionally torturing her, showing old videos when they were the human forms, talking about the possibilities of what this might bring. She starts toying with the soldiers in the elevator, making them think they're gonna die. She releases Morrow. So anyway, she starts just moving all these chess pieces around from the cell and kind of creating her own chaos without ever leaving there, without physically interacting with anything. Marie, I'll go to you first on this one. What were your thoughts on how this was playing off, and instead of having them go out and physically start doing some things, is her just kind of playing chess master with everything that was happening in the facility?
At this moment, you can see Marie is over this shit.
Okay. So I know they hinted at Wendy being able to essentially have the force a little bit, but did they ever explain how it happened? Like how she's able to control like the network or all the screens and the locks and everything robotic connected to the network? They never explained any of that, right?
It just seems that her connection to Prodigy technology allows her
Yeah.
access.
But then but they never explained it. They
But
never explained.
they never
Or
explain her wireless connection.
no.
No, it just seems
Or
to be a
and
byproduct of this experiment.
yeah, and once they realized that she was able to do this, they never tried to like take it away or fix it, right?
No, Cavalier
No.
was
Like
intrigued by
like
it.
maybe it's a yeah, but maybe it's a threat, maybe it's a security threat if you can hack into the network a little bit, especially with her brother back. Um Also, can they only work on you or like lower your voice and your language and change you if you're in like one of those little bed things with like the cyber pillow? Is that the only time, or do they have
From what we've seen there, it looks like they have to kind of shut them down and work on them directly in
okay.
order to make these enhancements or
Yeah.
de-enhancements.
What's it? The only
I don't
time we
know.
see something that's not laying down is when they're adjusting her hearing. Because her hearing, she was sitting upright for that. She wasn't connected to
But
Okay.
it
anything.
was a direct thing.
Yeah, they had a control unit per se.
Yeah.
Like that's the only time when she wasn't like put to sleep.
I feel everything with Wendy was kind of rushed. There was nothing explained. It was convoluted. It was a little like, okay, she has the force now. Oh, she can do this now. Oh, she can also do this. By the way, guys, this is a new thing she can do, all in this one episode shoved in here. And I just thought the writing was just like way too lazy and convenient. And like, here's another Star Wars or like, not Star Wars, like Disney Mary Sue character. Like I'm thinking about Ray. And it's just like she can just do everything all of a sudden. And I was like, okay, uh, I didn't like it. No. And at the same time, she's communicating with the xenomorph, and no one thought to maybe like, maybe we should take these unexplicable powers she has because they are a security threat to us. And I know they're like interested and it's an experiment, but at the same time, it's a threat to all of your security, especially when her emotions are at play with her brother there. And it just felt like just the writing was just everything was way too convenient. I didn't like any of it. I didn't like it. No, I wish all the hybrids just like wreaked vengeance on everything and havoc instead of Wendy being at the little chest. I don't know. I didn't like it. No, I
I
didn't.
will say this: we've this. I mean, I don't feel like it was something new. We've seen her from the very early stages doing this, and
It was a big
then
jump to everything she could do. It was like, oh yeah, remember how she can do this? We can do all this now.
in this episode we see it a lot more. But the way Cavalier like reacts to everything, even things that should be threats, he's very cavalier about everything. Like it literally fits in the name. It's almost like it's a game. He doesn't take things too serious. I don't know if that's his arrogance. I don't know if it's
Uh-huh.
his arrogance or his feel like whatever, I can just get past this or whatever, things like that. Because even in this, when your life is in danger, bro, he's just like,
Skipping,
okay, like,
skipping through
yeah,
the halls.
I'll get out of here and things like that. And I mean, it definitely fits the name, but it would make sense that I agree with you. A regular person who might uh try to be very paranoid or extra careful might be like, oh, I don't like you doing that. But I feel it fits with what we've seen from Cavalier, where he's just like, oh, that's intriguing. Let's see where this goes. Oh, let's see, because he feels like no matter what or where it goes, he's always gonna have the upper hand. I mean, he had the balls to walk into the cage with all these hybrids that can destroy him because he still thinks he had the power.
I'm probably in between the two of you on this because it seems like you took it in a very more even keel way where you expected all these things to happen in a way, and so did I. Like I felt like a lot of episodes built up to Wendy doing what she did here, even to the point where she does the Neo stop move to uh to Adam. And like I wasn't too surprised when it happened. I was like, oh, so now she can do this. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was okay is the
Eye
word of the
roll.
day. All
Okay.
right. But it's like,
Okay.
all right, yeah, what can't she do? But it didn't at the same time, I was like, it's not like it doesn't make sense. It did make sense everything she was doing because we saw her already amping up to this level with every episode that passed. So I don't want to use the Mary Sue thing because I saw like Nerdrotic use that earlier on like Twitter, like today or yesterday. And I was like, not everything's a Mary Sue. Like, yes,
She is
she
though.
feels overpowered, but the thing is, it's not like it doesn't make sense. If she was just a regular human and she was doing all this stuff, then I'd be like, yeah, what the hell's going on here? But we knew she was a hybrid. They showed us the ink, like little drops of these abilities, and so it only made sense that she was able to do what she's doing now. So I'm okay with that. My only thing is, I wish they explained it. That's my
Yes.
only issue. It's like,
That's my thing too,
yeah,
George.
but it's not like they don't show her doing the abilities and that she's learning how to harness them better and better as she goes through. Like I feel like you see her learning. So that's why I don't consider it Mary Sue. Mary Sue's just like, boom, she's good. And it's like, and she wasn't naturally already good at it. It took time. So, and like, so as they said, like we're seeing these time jumps as the episodes progress. We see that like this body's decomposing. We see a cast on a person's arm. Time is going by, so like I can be forgiving towards those things. I'm not forgiving when there's no explanation. So that's why I'm
Mhm.
like kind of in the middle with you guys on where this lies on this. But like I guess when you have a show called Alien Earth, I want to see the alien be the threat. I don't care about the hybrid. It's like I think that
No.
that that and that's what it was, and they still didn't feel that threatening for me. I don't know. Like I started thinking about what you said last time, Jose, about like the lighting and the xenomorph being out in the world, and you just didn't like how that looked.
Yeah.
I felt
Still
that
don't.
way. I felt that way in this episode. I felt like things were too
Same.
bright and like too flashy at times, like literally flashing. And like, thank God I don't have epilepsy or I'd be fucked.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Yeah.
like, I felt like in this moment where it should have felt really horrific and scary, because it's scary for all those characters as she's messing with them. I didn't feel it because the lighting of every scene was just too vibrant. Like I wish like she had turned the lights down. Like if she had shut off all the lights and like it's a trope to have, but that's a good trope because then you can lean into that darkness and the what you can't see. And now we're wondering what's in the shadows. Is it the alien? Is it them? Is it Morrow? Like we're always gonna be wondering what is the threat that's coming after each of them. But we were never wondering that because we could see everything perfectly. So how some of that played out, I wish it could have been produced a little bit better.
And that's true. And then I feel I would be on the same page with you, Marie, regarding her control of technology if everything that she's done wasn't Prodigy Systems. Like, and I will touch on it. I know we have Utani on their way, and we'll touch on that later. If we come next season and she starts doing that with Utani systems, I'm on board with you on the same page. Like, no, that's too insane.
Yeah.
Her being able to do this on the same systems that are within her, it's not hard for me to be like, okay, I can see her. She has a connection to that system. That's what she was built on. But if she does that to Utani system or systems that are outside of their ecosystem, I will see that as a problem if we get there to that point.
Yeah. Unless she finds a way to adapt her body to them. Like maybe she takes like a microchip out of something and
We would
puts it
have
in
to
her.
see it.
Yeah. Then
We
it could
would definitely
be,
have to see it
yeah.
happening. I will say in this scene, I wrote it down on my notes and I was like, protects me at all cost. Like through all this chaos and stuff, you still have Shmi come over and be the voice of reason, but like he's still your brother. Like, come on, he's family. He's one of us. I'm like, ah, oh, Shmi's still wholesome. Like even through the trauma, he's still again the most innocent out of all of them
He's
and
the
stuff. So
heart.
yes. So right away I had to
Mhm.
write, protects me at all costs. Nothing better happen to me. All that.
I also liked how the Adam was it? Is that the
Yes.
Yeah.
daddy?
Adam
Okay.
spelt with Atom.
Ah,
Yeah, I have notes
Yeah.
about him.
cool. Okay. I like how he said we are understaffed. Thank you. Thank you for once in this show admitting you're under freaking staffed. He's like, we're understaffed. It's like, yes, hello. And that's another thing with this. I'm sorry, I just see another thing with Wendy and her abilities. I know we saw it happen through, I guess, and then it was watching her grow with it and everything. It's like, just, I don't care how cavalier you are. This is your billions upon billions dollar shit project. If she can hack into the network, do something about it. That's not safe. I don't care. It's just it sucks for the writing. I'm sorry, but there's no way it makes sense in any. Oh, he has ADHD though. Sorry. He has ADHD apparently, so I guess he doesn't care about the security of his stuff. But like, if she can, also you're putting them in an area with cameras and TVs, screens that she can manipulate. I don't know. I don't, they should have just like, I just can't deal with Wendy's stuff. I'm sorry. I don't care if it was growing. I don't like it.
Well, from there, she ends up letting Morrow go, who is caged up with her brother, Hermit. Lets him go, and then they kind of go their separate way with Hermit going towards the hybrids because he wants to save the hybrids and his sister. And Morrow is on his path of revenge and still trying to complete his mission. And then we finally get the face off between Morrow and Kirsch. And we get this little one-on-one fight. They've had verbal jousting before a couple of times, but now we finally get the physical jousting between them.
Yeah, they hate each other's kind. I thought it was fine. I liked it. I like that Hirsch got effed up because I didn't know who was gonna come out of that. But yeah, it was good. It was
Yeah,
fine.
well,
I don't have much to say about each scene in
Like we're
particular.
so
I just
over it.
have everything I have to say about the show
Uh,
in general. So yeah, it was cool. Yeah, I like fighting.
I was also, I guess satisfied with this moment. I wish there was more of this than what everything else we got. It was also nice to see because there was definitely, I think, a question for everyone watching this is like because Kirsch is synthetic of the rules that we know for synthetics going into this, they're not allowed to harm humans. But he's not like other synthetics. He's not made by the other companies. He's made by Prodigy. And Prodigy apparently doesn't put those kind of protocols on their synthetics. They can fight back, and so he does. Like I like that he was already ready, had his gun out, throw some fisticuffs with them. Again, it goes back to like that whole thing with synthetics. Like I always question, it's like, man, their fragility. It's like he shows super strength, but then he gets thrown on a table and his back gets broken. Why are we making synthetics as weak as humans? What's the problem? I guess it doesn't make any sense. Like it's a flaw that's existed since the beginning of Alien, and I've never understood it. But it's like he has thrown someone on that table, was like, I'm done. All right. It's
Yeah,
milk. It's milk time, baby.
yeah.
well,
Get all that milk out of
Milk,
me.
what you
milk
understand
time.
is Kirsch is in his 40s. So
Yeah.
he can't
But
do what he used to do with
yeah, when he
younger
was a younger
Kirsch.
synth. Yeah. But it was a decent battle, it wasn't bad, and and there was repercussions because the freaking plant creature that I guess is not that plant,
No,
because
yeah.
they made it seem like it was a plant, but as we saw it move out, it's like you're more like an octopus, like you are something else
Hmm.
altogether. Like we finally get to see it do something, not the official something as it does later on, but we see it move around. Like it's more mobile than we anticipated. It's not just this docile, I'm gonna stay still thing. It shows camouflage and visibility tactics. It's very freaking agile, very mobile. Like it could freaking cling onto ceilings and walls and everything.
Yeah.
So that was cool to see that thing come out and know that it was going to be a threat finally. Because I think that was the last creature that we were waiting on to finally do something. So that was a nice outcome out of all of this, and it showed even Morrow was a little scared because he didn't know what that thing was going to do. Like to just
Because it
have him show
hasn't
some
done
fear.
anything.
Exactly, yeah. So he's just like, I don't know, I don't. Which gave him his moment and everything. And I liked how it ended too, because like, and now granted, I could be mixing things up, but eventually after Kirsch takes him out and puts him in that chokehold. Eventually we get Smee and Smiley do come in. And it may not have been directly at the end of the scene, but I know they come in eventually. And I
Yeah.
just love Kirsch's response of just like, you guys couldn't be here 10 minutes sooner. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, George. So there actually was a little break in between when Smee and Slightly went. So the scene that happened before this is actually when Boy Cavalier decided to have the gall to go visit the hybrids with one guard by him. I mean, to him, they're contained there, and he decides, hey, this is the perfect time. I'm gonna tell you guys a story. Hybrids don't really want to hear it, but Wendy opens the door and says, yes, tell me a story. And this is the first moment where we see a little concern from him. But then the concern kind of fades away quickly, and we go back to like that quirky personality he has, where he's just like, okay. And he walks in and he tells the story. We get a little bit more about his background. How at 6 years old, long story short, he built a synth to eliminate his drunk dad who was possibly abusive. Then he used this synth to start off his company at 6 years old. So he was a savant, and before until he was able to take over himself, which we kind of find out through context clues that it must have been Adam. Adam was that synth that he built. Which this whole time, I'm gonna be honest, I thought he was human. I thought he was a second in command. I didn't know he was a simp. He didn't have simp qualities
Agreed.
in his interactions. So we get that the guard makes the mistake of pointing a gun. We know Nibs does not like that, so she goes all feral again and eliminates him. And this is where Wendy looks at Cavalier and tells him to run. And not really understanding the threat, he just kind of skips away, kind of giggling, smile on his face like this is a big game, and he leaves. And this is where we have Wendy giving everyone instructions. She sends Nibs after Sylvie. She sends Smee and Slightly after Morrow and Kirsch. And then she herself is going to handle Cavalier. And you mentioned earlier, George, how everything is so like in the light. You don't really have much horror in this, nothing in like darkness. And I feel we got that only for a few seconds in the scene where Nibs goes to get Dame,
Yeah.
where we see her against the window and we see her kind of just drop from the ceiling and the shadows and the creeping. But it was only a few seconds. And I agree with you. We needed more of that aspect within this episode because there wasn't. Everything seemed to be pacing so quick to try to get the story where it needed to go that it wasn't taking time to breathe in moments like that and add tension. There was more tension in the previous episodes than was in this one. And this being the finale, you should have more tension, I think, than the penultimate episode. So Sylvie gets captured. You already talked about Morrow and Kirsch getting captured, and then she's going after after Cavalier sending the Xeno. My question with the whole Xeno combination is like, what is the distance on her communication with the Xeno? Like, what is the range on these internal walkie-talkies that they have here? Like, I feel he was out there on a hill enjoying the sun, tanning, and was like, "What? What is it? I'm coming." I'm still not enjoying the whole like partnership with the Xeno, and I enjoyed it even less in this episode. And the fact that from the cell she was able to like call him from, I don't know, a mile away. I was not a fan of that. This whole General Wendy commanding the troops and everyone having their mission and executing it. How do you feel how that played out?
Well, I want to backtrack just a little bit because you mentioned something that I think was actually something good. I feel like I gotta say some good things to juxtapose against all the bad I'm gonna say in this episode. That moment when she snaps and the door opens, think about episode, what, one or two, when he snaps and the movie plays and all that crap. Remember how I crapped on it? But I was like, that's not magic. Like, you didn't do anything special. No, nothing special happened. That was special. Like, I actually kind of liked how they mirrored that moment from the beginning to the end because it's just like he wasn't doing anything special. There was something grand about what he did, but what she did, that was power. Like, this was something like, you thought this was cool. You put a TV on. I can control all this. You know, like, she's like, I'm Thanos. You know, so I actually kind of liked that mirror of what they did there. Also, I will point out there is a little bit of like symbol. There's a buttload of symbolism in this whole freaking episode that goes nowhere and means nothing. But there's something interesting where he built Adam, the the synth that ends up taking out his dad and all that crap. And like I mentioned before, Murray, it was ATOM, as in like, you know, the atom, the molecules and stuff like that. His full name is Adam Einz, as in like Adam Einstein. Einstein, the guy who proved atoms are real, you know, who also is like the discovery of life kind of almost kind of thing. And that's where Cavalier is almost like this god figure. He sees himself as this god figure that is untouchable. And by naming him Adam, that kind of like proves that. There's also a double meaning where like Adam being Adam and Eve, like the first human. So this was
Yeah.
his first creation. And then we have Eve, which would be Wendy, his second creation. So I saw a lot of that being played out in there. But it's like, you guys are trying to be way too deep. And it's not being pulled off in the way you think it is. All right.
Yeah.
So I have to say, but then you go to Wendy, her being the Eve type. So now ignore the Peter Pan crap. You know, who does she talk to? It's something snake-like, the alien. You know, but instead of the alien controlling her, she's controlling it. You know, so there's a whole bunch of that going on. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about it. I will say to what you said, Jose, the whole thing with the how far can she communicate? We kind of addressed it before, like with the whole like vibrations thing. Like, elephants can communicate through vibration through like hundreds of miles. So them being a communicate on an island, why not? You know, it didn't bother me that much that she could do it, or like the distance. It just bothered me that it was happening. I I'm not like you.
Why
I'm not
not?
for this. I'm not for this relationship. Like, it's just please stop. I don't
I
want
am
to
not
see.
shipping it at all.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't want to
that's
see
what
it.
I was
I don't
thinking.
want to see a xenomorph as a guard dog. That's not how I want to see it. And if
No,
it is going to be a guard dog,
no.
it's to the real queen. I don't want to see it to be to this synthetic thing. All right. It's just, it doesn't do it for me. You know, I didn't care that she commanded her crew to do what they did. It was like, whatever. Like, it would have been cooler maybe if they were more menacing, but they just weren't. They just like, I don't feel it. I know. It just like, because it still feels like kids, you know?
That's the aspect, George. The menacing wasn't there, which was created the tension. So they captured, they didn't do anything. Like Nibs, we've seen her get ferocious. She just captured the therapist. We've got Slightly and Smee, although like Smee's still innocent for me. But Slightly should have all this pent up anger. We saw like what he did to Arthur, pretty much, allowing him to do that. And you just knock out Moro?
He should
Like
have been
that's
the one to beat the crap out of Morrow.
yeah, he should have
All those bruises should
indented
have came
his
from him.
head.
Yeah.
He should have indented his head. What they did, they tied him up and they took them. So again, nothing menacing in that aspect. And then that comes down to the xenomorph, and it's up there one of my biggest knocks in this, second half of this series so far with this new xenomorph that came out is besides the relationship that they're having is this is one of the most passive xenomorphs I've ever seen. How many people is this xenomorph gonna spare? First of all, it spares Wendy. They didn't attack her the first time in early on, and they were like, "Oh, let's have this buddy buddy." It didn't attack Hermit when they met out in the jungle because she told it not to. It didn't go attack some of the soldiers because it held off until she gave the command. It didn't. It had perfectly good food out there by the graves, and Dame didn't attack her. It hesitated, just kind of stared at her. And then here again, it didn't attack Cavalier.
Oh,
Instead, it waited for the order and attacked the soldiers behind and spared him. So I'm not liking this whole passive, non-menacing and non-violent xenomorph that we're getting that
Yeah.
just picks and chooses according to what's being told by Wendy. I'm not a fan of that. And it's really weakening the xenomorph within this series.
yeah. First of all, I like how nice you are about everything, Jose. I'm not a fan of this. I still don't like this. I like, man, you can get mad, bro. Like, get mad because I think it deserves it a little bit. Like, sorry, in our opinion, in my opinion, I think it deserves it. Okay. If other people like it, that's cool. You're entitled to your own feelings. Absolutely. This is just my feelings. I hate it. I hate it. It makes my skin crawl. George, I did like how you like the snapping, very poetic of you to pick up on that. I'm just so, I think, blinded by things I don't like about the show that I'm not seeing the poetry or the hidden message because they're really like castrating the xenomorph. Like they're really
Yeah.
just kind of, and it does make you like ruin the series. I mean, not just like like this television series, but like the whole Alien franchise. It's like, wait a sec, it's tainting it for me. I don't want to see this. Um, so I hate the whole communication with it. I hate that the writers are choosing when the xenomorph is going to be vicious, and it doesn't make sense at all. Because even it's attacking all these other people, even when Wendy's not around, unless she's communicating the whole time with it through whatever. I still find it different. I was still like, how far are they away? Because they're also like maybe underground through like steel and like all this concrete and everything like that. And I'm just like, how they can communicate that far with these little tiny quiet clicks. You know what I'm saying? So that I was still like, yeah, really, what's the distance proximity? Also, why aren't they doing anything to like they know she can control it. They know the xenomorph's out on the loose. But yet people are still walking around the island. Like Dame's like, "Ah, go look at the graves, which looked really AI or CG and terrible. And she goes out there to like look, and it's like, do you not know there's a xenomorph out there? No one told you, and you weren't like, this isn't like being broadcast through this company blows. Okay, this is the worst company I've ever seen in a show, and it's managed terribly. It all deserves to die. But so Wendy is communicating with it through everything, telling the xenomorph just to only attack the guards. But like every scene when it showed a character that needs to be like in the next season is like snarling. And I'm like, this is crappy writing. I'm sorry, but it sucks. It's just making yeah. Sorry, Jose,
It's like
go.
it's like Wendy gave the xenomorph a no-go list. It's like you got free
Yeah.
game except everyone on this list.
Stupid.
Yeah. If it's a character
With
we've seen on camera with dialogue, you can't kill
Yeah.
them. But if we've
yeah,
never seen them, you go to town. You go.
yeah. Which I don't like it, but I would at least be able to be like within the context of what you are telling me, I would get the okay, these people I don't want them dead. You know, like Cavalier and all of that stuff. She has other plans for them. But why was Morrow on the no kill list? Because Morrow, she has no connection really to Morrow. Slightly did. Kirsch did. She should say I'm no care with Morrow at all. So there's no reason Morrow should be on her hey Zeno layoff list. Everyone else, even though I don't like it and it should not be in there, within the context of what we've seen, it would make sense for her to be like, okay, don't kill, but I want like Dame alive and Cavalier and Kirsch. These are all the people that have been part of her life and her basically her captors and things like that. She has no connection with Moro. Moro, there's no reason he should have been spared. He got spared for the sake of a new season. And so he's there for when Yutani comes. That I don't like. That is definitely bad writing. That's not writing for the story. That's writing for a new season.
Yep.
So I was not a fan of that aspect at all.
To pair on to what you guys were talking about
Yeah.
with like conveniences and writing, I mean, I felt like there was too much of a convenience around Morrow this whole episode, honestly. The way they constrained him with that metal thing around his arm, I liked how they happened to have just the thing they would need for his arm to be captured, but yet they had no means of tying it up to him so he couldn't use it. They had no means of tying it up to like the cell, like how the hybrids knew to tie them all up or tie up convenient ones, so that they couldn't do anything. But like he's just able to roam around freely and use it as a weapon. Like you guys couldn't think about that situation. Like I don't even know where you got that thing from, but you got it, right?
Yeah.
And but you couldn't like
And had a
just
key for it. Had a key
yeah,
and everything set
yeah.
aside.
So like
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing to have, and maybe why not do it to both arms? Like if you had one, maybe you'd have two. I just it was the convenience of it. It's like wow, like you guys just right when you need to. And I felt like that happened through all the episode for him, where it's just like we're gonna make everything convenient so he can get to where he needs to be, so we can see moments with him, and that's that. Like, don't put thought into it. Don't think of any reasoning. Even like with the xenomorph, like you go back to like when you mentioned the xenomorph sparing Dame. Did you guys notice where the bullet came from when it got shot? It
Yeah,
got
from the
shot right
side.
in front of him. It
Yeah.
was
And
yeah,
not and the
and
soldiers came from behind.
yeah, I was like, what kind of magic bullets are these? Like, is this Wanted with Angelina Jolie? Are they fucking curving the bullets
And
around?
were they rubber bullets? Because it
Yeah, because
looked
it
like
was
it
like
just
sparked
like
right off.
bounced.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like we've seen aliens get shot. Like they're not that indestructible. But
Yeah.
this one is. This one's a little
No.
special. The plot armor is heavy in this freaking
Yeah.
episode.
No, Moro in this, while I was pumped and excited for the way his story was progressing and him heading to the island, once he's got to the island, his overall purpose has only been to get Utani there next season. That's
Yeah,
it. He has not served any other purpose because what has he accomplished on the island, really? He got there, he got captured, and then conveniently let go and then recaptured again. He he hasn't really done much except break Kersh's back
yeah.
in this. So yeah, they ruined all the momentum they built with Morrow in this episode or the last episode and a half because he didn't do anything last episode really. But like, getting into something good, Itopus in here. So we had the scene. Our speculation was correct. Hermit was the victim that was chosen for it. So Adam takes Hermit to Cavalier's room. The sheep is out, just waiting for him there. Right away comes out, goes after Hermit. Props to Hermit not being an easy target. Gets in the cage. Itopus is too damn smart for that. It gets inside the cage, then Hermit gets out, and it's gonna get him until Jane is able to get there and save him in time. Itopus gets smacked around a little bit, but he's a tough son of a bitch, so that's not gonna stop him because he's Itopus. Here is when we get the reveal, like the full on reveal. Adam is a synth when he starts tossing Wendy around in there, where then she has to shut him down. Pretty much with him being Prodigy product and her having control over Prodigy or an into Prodigy software, able to shut him down. Their saver brother in the Octopus kind of escapes. Resilient Octopus. I'm kind of glad it didn't end up in Hermit because honestly, I'm not a fan of Hermit. I think he's not really useful at all, and it wouldn't be any better than when he was is part of the engineer on the ship. Like he needs a better host than that. So I'm glad that didn't happen.
That scene sucked, first and foremost. All right. On different levels. One, when Hermit is in that container and the eye comes into the other end where the feeding latch is, that didn't look like it was a locked latch. It looked like a simple like boom, 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 which means the octopus could have escaped at any time. It was never actually locked in there. So it was like,
No.
okay, like that's interesting because I watched that scene multiple times just to make sure it's like maybe it's one of those things like it opens from this side but not from that side. But you can see it's like no, it's a simple little bowl thing or whatever that just goes back and forth. There was no locking mechanism from how that thing was designed. So it's like, okay, so why do y'all octopus just stay there? Like it
Because he
makes no
was
sense.
waiting. It's the
But like,
octopus.
but I don't know. It just seemed like there was a convenience there. You know what I mean, man? It's like they're not always
Yeah.
watching. And so like that annoyed me. Also, it just didn't look good when it was on his hands and he was trying to hold it off. Like I didn't feel
Yeah.
that tension of him like pulling back. You know what I mean? Like it felt like his hands was just there, and I could feel the CG aspect to it. They could have put a little bit more money into that scene and just had someone like maybe had some strings like practicals like strings pulling his hand back so he could have that tension and we can feel that
Yeah.
push and pull of him and the octopus. That just annoyed me. Like this episode as a whole really shows how mismanaged finances can be when it comes to making an adaptation like this or making a show like this, and how if we had a movie, this probably would have been done better because the money could have been well spent, and the storyline could be compressed a little bit better to make it flow and everything. But when you have something like this, like money goes into certain episodes, and by the time you get to the last episode, you're like, oh, forget we're broke now. We can only do so much. We'll just make it work. Guys in the computers, click, click, clack, clack. And that's what it felt like to me. It's like I'm not feeling this. Like I'm not feeling tension in his fight scene, in the scene in general. It was just such a whatever moment for me. And that's how I felt about it. I always said like the whole like Neo Wendy thing, whatever. I don't give a crap about. I will say the dialogue at the end of the scene was some of the most idiotic things I've heard between two people talking that just frustrated me to no end because they're trying to be super intelligent with what they're saying, but neither party is truly listening to each other at all. To the point I had to freaking take it down. So I just want to repeat some of the things that were said. All right, this is from Wendy. You know why I like the aliens? It's because they're honest. And this is in response to like him being like, well, I shot Nibs because Nibs was attacking my friend. It's like what he did was dishonest. He was never being dishonest with her. He never lies to her. He's always upfront. And it's like he doesn't see Nibs as not human. It's just that's his friend. He spent time with this person in war. So it's like the way you feel about Nibs is what I feel about this person. Understand that feeling. You want me to understand you, understand me. And she doesn't give that understanding. As intelligent as she is, she fails to see that, you know. And then she follows this up with because he mentions how complicated things are. He's like, well, the world's complicated. Life is complicated. Because she's a kid. She doesn't get that. He's an adult. He's lived through shit. And so she's like, don't say complicated. That's what powerless people say to make doing nothing okay. And I'm not powerless. And this is in reference to him shooting again. It's like he wasn't doing nothing. He was saving his friend, and you can't get that for some reason. And he's not saying that you're powerless, and he's not saying that that you're nothing and that you're not human. It's like just understand where he's coming from. It's like in this moment, it's like he even calls her a child, and then that gets brushed off, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like it reminded me of the conversation between She-Hulk and the Hulk in the She-Hulk TV show, and when they're talking about like being
Oh, that was
catcalled or
such a
whatever.
stupid scene.
Yeah, that's what I thought of. It's just like the man had to cower down to the woman because of what she's saying. But it's like, but what you're saying makes no sense. But it's like it makes sense if everything he was doing was wrong, but he's also defending someone. It's like you don't know the world. It is complicated.
And George,
Yes, George.
all that bad, but Itopus survived.
No, man.
Octopus is the most
Itopus
resilient
made
thing.
it out.
I want my eyes to be as resilient as that freaking thing. That thing got fucking kung fu kicked across the freaking room, and it was just like, I'm gonna walk away from this shit.
Yeah,
Like, what are you made out of? Like, I know eyes
yeah.
have super healing compared to the rest of our body, but that thing's made out of adamantium. Like, I
He,
gotta get what that thing's on.
he was like, I will live to fight another day. Went
Yeah,
inside the
what the
thing. He
hell?
even looked back and it was like, I will see you again.
And
And went inside there. That
I
made
would
me
also
happy.
argue
I want more Itopus.
I would argue that I actually wanted him to go into Hermit because I agree. Hermit has been like
Yeah.
a nothing character that would have elevated him so much because maybe the octopus started would have started talking and actually doing more, and that could have made his character be more of a heel to Wendy because Wendy is still having that connection to her brother. If it's now a different thing, that connection can now be played with because she's so willing to save everything but humanity now. It's like, would she still want to save her brother? Does she still see her brother in there, or does she see the eye thing as an alien that needs to be survived, like be saved? Like, how does she handle that situation now? Because it's a whole new dynamic and it becomes complicated.
Yes. Ooh, George, you're
That's
absolutely
called
right. I
writing,
wanted
Marie. That's
I know. Yeah, no,
called...
you just wrote the episode so much better in like 30 seconds
Oh.
off the cuff than what they did this whole thing. They had, I don't know how many years they had. I agree with everything George said. I also did not like the Octopus scene. I don't like the way the Octopus looks. I said in the first time I saw it, I was like, I can't look at it like it's a real thing. The CG is too crappy on it. I also felt the same way about the struggling with the hand. I'm also like, how strong are you? You look pretty flimsy. I understand these little vein things are like, I guess, strong. I don't know, but it looked too phony. It looked like I could tell it wasn't you know, you said I could feel the CG too much. I didn't like that. Also, didn't like the Neo stop. I think we chuckled out loud. And just what you said about, I love what you said about the dialogue because I've hated the script also since day one. I thought the script is not good. And you saying like, oh, it's just a man cowering to a woman again. And it's like, again, I'm just blaming Disney, man. They don't, it's all about girl power and it just pisses me off. Like, listen to the men. Sometimes they're right. I listen to these men and I'm so ragey and mad and they'll be like, yeah, you got a point there. Got a point there, guys. Guys are like, you gotta just do it. It's not hard. But Disney can't write like that or anything to do with, I don't know. But everything you said, I agree.
I
And I
told
thought
you,
you were gonna
Marie.
say,
I got the rage too. I got the rage too,
I know.
man. I got
And when I thought you were gonna say, I wish my eyes were as resilient as Jose is when he sees stuff that's terrible, but he still has nice things to say.
uh
Wait, you're so kind, Jose. Sorry, go on.
Hey, the octopus is strong. Okay, they don't call him the octopus for nothing. Have you seen those little tiny octopuses that don't? They seem pretty flimsy, but when those things get a grip, it's a problem. So octopus,
Yeah.
and then I do like your version. I think that would have created a good dynamic. But I
Yes, George.
but I kind of do like where Octopus ended up by the end of this, and kind of just getting into what the aftermath is. I feel there's potential for the next season for the Octopus because Herman is an idiot. Octopus is not going to gain much from being in Hermit because he's pretty incompetent, and we know that Octopus he kind of just he with the host, he kind of just he can absorb information, learn, do all that because he's kind of taking over them. He's not gonna get much from Hermit at all. Ending up in Arthur with the little dialogue that we have with all the degrees that he has, it seems like he's a very intelligent person. Not only that, he knows the location, he knows the access codes, he knows the systems for these hybrids. He knows how to they're like he knew how to turn on the tracker, he knows how the inner workings. This is all information that Octopus is going to have access to. If written correctly in the next season, Octopus can use going in. So I think out of all the people besides Cavalier that it could have gone into, Arthur and all the knowledge that Arthur has and his intelligence was probably the second best person for Octopus and for going into next season to make him a viable threat going forward. Not a physical threat, but the knowledge that he's able to get from Arthur. So I did like that. So we had that was the final moments for Octopus. We see Yotani's coming with their fleet. All communication out of the island has been cut off. We see all the adults captured, real and non-real adults are all captured in there, and Moral for some fucking reason is in there. Uh, and then the hybrids and Big Brother and Little Brother Zeno, they are in charge now, hanging out of the cage like some kind of guard dog in there. They got two Rottweilers out there, and the other aliens, like the plant thing, is on the loose, still on the base. So who knows? We'll see more of that. But that's kind of how everything ended. But we're gonna say Marie for last here because we know Marie's
Uh,
gonna unleash on that. I probably will be the lightest on this, so I will go first, and we'll kind of go in levels, go through this. This did not feel like a finale. This was like my first word, a letdown. Through it, this felt like this was maybe the third to last episode of a season. Was anything really closed out in this? There was no stakes in this episode. There was no risk taken in this episode. They played it as Disney as possible, which is always a fear when Disney controls Alien. And there was some episodes this season where I was like, okay, that doesn't feel very Disney. They might be taking a risk. That was good. This felt very Disneyfied. And the focus of the writing in this episode was so concentrated on future seasons that it did not do justice to what this season could have done to end. Everyone that was major pretty much survived. Everyone that was not major was cannon fodder. So they try to satisfy us with pretty much feeding us rice cakes and being like, here, be satisfied, have some rice cakes. No, I'm fucking hungry. I want more than rice cakes. Give me some meat. Give me some steak. Give me some potatoes.
Potatoes. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
No, they saved all that. They're like, no, 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 don't worry. We're serving that tomorrow. We're serving that next season. So they left us with a lot of promises and just gave us a lot of fluff. At least one or two more hybrids should have gone down. The hybrids never even got into battle in this at all. They just conveniently captured everyone without even a struggle or anything like that. I would have been curious if, slightly goes and Morrow puts on the fight and then slightly actually fights back and we see some anger, for his mama. And he like actually viciously attacked, not just hit him once and like knock him out unconscious. Cavalier, his forces should have put up more of a fight. The Xeno should not have should at least shown signs of, if you're going to have this relationship, at least show signs of rebellion at all, where maybe it kills someone that she said to save. And then we kind of get those signs of fracture going into next season where, okay, maybe this relationship is not long lasting. But no, it was an obedient little pet the entire time. Now the one that she's never even talked to seems like it's an obedient little pet with the other xenomorph hanging out there like a kangaroo in a pouch with the other xenomorph. So that was annoying to watch. Yes, Marie's word underwhelming was very,
Ice.
very justified
It was
when it
gentle
comes
though.
to this.
That's a gentle
Yeah.
word for this episode.
They completely butchered the finale of the show. Yes, there were flaws in the rest of the series. And there were things that I looked at and I'm like, that can be better. That writing can be better. But there was a lot of things that I did like. And a lot of that goodwill of the things that they did like, they tried their hardest in this to take away a lot of that goodwill and ruin a lot of that stuff. A
Jose's
lot of
so
that
upset.
stuff.
His headphones are like, I can't even handle this right now.
Yeah.
He gets a hiccup. My words are too
Yeah.
spicy.
Yeah. A lot of that
Uh,
stuff, they did their best to ruin this and lost a lot of momentum going into next season, which they tried their darnest to set everything up for next season at the sacrifice of this season, and it actually had the opposite effect. George?
I'm learning why Jose doesn't want to get mad a lot because it gives him the hiccups when he gets worked up. Love it.
Well, ditto to everything Jose just said. Uh, I think we're all in full agreement with that. I wanted really badly with every passing episode to be where you were at, Jose, because you, like Maria said, you're always very positive. You were seeing, like, I'm a silver lining guy, and you were taking that silver lining and bringing it to another level. Like, you saw the gold lining at times of where things were at. I was like, I want to see it that way. I want to be that positive. I want to stop being so cynical. And then this episode happened. I was like, but I was fucking right. But I was like, this is so much dog shit. That's my new word, dog shit. That
Oh,
sums
shit.
up sums up the whole episode. Let's talk about that
No,
dialogue. How bad was that freaking dialogue? I mean, like I mentioned it with
yeah.
Wendy and everything like that, but there was one character that stood out even more that just annoyed the crap out of me and should have died in the last episode. and that was Siberian. That's the black chick who was a soldier, friend to Hermit and everything.
Yeah.
Her
Yeah.
dialogue has always sucked, and like I felt it even more in this episode. There's like scenes where like they come into the room and like they come in, she's like there, and she just yells it out. It's like everyone's next to you. You can calm down. I was like, where's the director in this scene? Is anyone telling us like, hey, bring it down a few pegs, all right? Like it's not that you're not in Call of Duty, all right? Which that's what it felt like. There's one sort of like it's like stay frosty, everybody. I was like, who the hell do you think you are? You guys aren't space marines, all right? You're cannon fodder. Act like cannon fodder, and they do.
Yeah.
You know? But it's just like they were. I felt they were doing too much and doing too little all at the same time. There's a moment where they're going in the elevator, and she's like, "Hurry up and get in here! You're letting all the cool air out." What is that? Why are you
God.
saying that? You're in a building, first of all right? It's like I'm pretty sure the whole place is air conditioned. If that was an issue, it's like, why? Why is that the line? It's so fucking retarded. And then when she finally dies, like when with the platypus, that's what we're gonna call that thing. All right. The platypus is above her, and she sees it because it's dripping on her and everything, and her reaction, and the fact that the camera has to like close up on her and then show that of like, I'm gonna die now. You know? And it's just like you've been on the hunt for everything that's gonna kill you. Like you guys are so prepared to kill things, and there's one moment you're like, oh damn, and because she's the most gung ho out of all of them, and this is her time. Like she could have been like, yeah, like she should have been like, I forget, I hate that I'm blanking on the character's name from Aliens, but you know who I'm talking about, the freaking butch chick from Aliens and Terminator 2.
Oh
Vasquez?
yeah.
Yes, like
Is it
she's so
Vasquez?
badass. She's so freaking badass. That's who she should have been. Like if you're trying to emulate
Yeah.
certain characters from other things, be that. Like I don't mind if certain things are replicated and tropes are replicated if they're badass. But when like there's like
Yeah.
she's just like oh, and everyone on the side is watching like oh, like they're just oh, and it's not even hitting the thing. And it's like oh, what is happening here? Like this is your guys' time, right?
And she somehow, while being eaten, killed like three of them herself. She
It's
shot them
it's so
while being
stupid.
eaten.
It's so that
Oh,
annoyed me to no end. The episode started off horrible when the fact that we didn't even get to see the xenomorph kill all those other troops. We have to be told that it killed all the other troops. So all we see is dead bodies. Always see is carcasses. It's like you couldn't like if you want to show me a montage, don't show me a montage of dead troops. Show me a montage of it messing up shit. Like as much as I hated the choppiness of episode one, at least show me some clips of it doing its thing. Like Jose, you talked about the fact that there was no rebellion, no rebelliousness from the xenomorph. A great scene could have been us like the episode should have opened up with the xenomorph taking out troops. Like we could have seen that
yes.
body, see Arthur's body dead and decomposed, and chop that with the xenomorph hunting every troop and taking it down. And we could see like maybe there's even a monitor, and we're seeing troops just getting like eliminated one by like this. It's just being turned off. And then maybe in a moment of realization, like Mundy's trying to call out to it, and like, hey, like I need you, and she does her little thing, or whatever, and it could be like, oh snap, while it's tearing up shit, and we got a guy that's like, oh, like he's almost escaping, and you can see
Blood
that,
dripping.
yeah, and it's like, and he's like,
Ugh.
oh, like mom wants me, but it's like, but I got one more left, like if I can have that freaking like inner turmoil, and like, and then you see him, he's like, I gotta kill this guy first, so he kills like two to three more dudes first, and then he leaves. But like, so we can have that thing. It's like, I'm not gonna go immediately. I gotta take care of this first, and then I'll go help you out. That could have been really cool, and we still get to see the thing we want to see, which is Xenomorph messing up shit. It's like that. Give us that. Give us that moment of it being. Because how cool would it have been to see a Xenomorph in the jungle hunting its prey like a predator would in Predator 1? Like that's what they had the chance to do here, and they failed at every turn. And it was so upsetting, so frustrating as I was watching this. And I thought to myself, like, I could be playing Borderlands right now. What am I doing? Like, like what the hell?
Mhm.
So that bugged the crap out of me. And then its ending annoyed me even more because I told you like there's these little references to like Adam and Eve, and the end ends with a reference to like Jesus. Like
Yeah.
that little freaking like effigy or whatever you want to call it of like the three of them there, like it shows like the life cycle of Jesus. And I was like, why? Like why are you doing this? And like well, because they stopped God is that's okay. Like, there's these heavy-handed freaking things but like this doesn't do anything for me. Like this doesn't have the power you think it has. That because this whole story has been horribly written. So it's like I feel like I wasted all of my time. Like I said, I want to stop watching after episode one and two, but I did it because I
Yeah.
love you guys. You guys are my family. But goddamn, there's I don't want to watch season two. All right, I'm gonna be upfront and honest. I don't want to watch season two. If it happens and you guys want to do another season of this, I'll obviously do it because content, baby. But goddamn it, they have not earned my eyes. All right, not even Octopus. I'm sorry. As much as I like what you said, Jose, it's a great point. He now has the golden ticket to come back in there and do some cool shit. I just can't trust him to write some cool shit. That's the only thing. Like I saw some ties to like Predator Badlands in this. I, I almost don't want to see Predator Badlands now. That's where they have
Yeah.
me with this. Even though I know it's a different director, the guy who handled Prey, but if they're gonna connect this shit together, I
No,
don't
he did
know.
come out and said no. There isn't even any xenomorphs in the other one. They said that if there's any connections, everything's gonna be very loose. Like, hey, Wayland Yutani, like
Yeah,
synth, like that's it. He already came out and said like these things are gonna stand on their own.
and they're barely standing.
Hmm.
Marie,
Yes.
let's icing on the cake.
George, everything you both said. Both of you said everything that was good, and I agree with you. And like I didn't like the first episode. I didn't like how in this episode they went back to the choppy, flashy, flashing edits of what the xenomorph did or has done. I felt it was just so G rated, not even PG. It was like G rated, trying to keep it, I don't know, clean. I don't know what it was. I don't know why they were doing that. We came here to see the xenomorph. I will say, okay, I have my notes here. I'm going to go through them a little bit. Before we even pressed play on the episode and we saw the title of the episode as The Real Monsters, I was just
Yeah.
kind of like, spare me, okay? Just because it's not a profound message anymore. We know humans are the monsters, or I guess maybe even the hybrids are the monsters in this, but we know we live in that world every fucking day now. There was a time when we want to watch horror movies because they give us like this fantasy world that we can go to, kind of escape real life, but now we like live in horror more so, where humans are evil and we're exposed to the evilness of humanity so much now, where it's like I don't want to be told it in a show anymore because we see it too often, or a movie. Like it's been done to death. We know humans are the monsters. We know that already. I want to watch a horror show that's going to make me forget about real life. I want to be in a fantasy world. I want to see a xenomorph be scary. I want to be scared for something that's not just going out in life every day and like turning on Instagram and seeing how angry and horrible and full of hatred and rage people are. I want to I want to get rid of that and escape into something else, something like a fantastical monster, okay? I don't want to see and be like, yeah, humans suck. It's like, yeah, we know already. I don't know. So that was my first part where I was like, oh, yeah, we get it. And I know that's the whole point of the show. And like, it is the point of like like the Alien franchise in general, but it's different now because it's like too real. Like it's too real these days. You know what I mean? But anyway, there's also I don't know how I feel about Arthur having the octopus because I just I wanted it to be in a living human. I don't know. I was just kind of like, okay, so it can take over the dead, I guess. So they're like a zombie person. I just feel like it would have been more impactful if it was like a living person. First of all, you get to see the octopus kind of off somebody, and it would be kind of cool to see and like devastating and dark. But now it's like, oh, dead body's crawling into like a hermit crab, I guess. And I don't know how, I guess it can control all your bodily movements and your voice and everything like that and access your memories. Like, I don't know how that's going to work. I just think I would have rather seen it in like an alive person, especially a person that we care about, because there wasn't enough darkness in the series. Like Jose said, this, especially this episode, was very Disney-esque. And that's what we were afraid of. We didn't want that. Like the octopus didn't really do much in this. I wanted to see it like really F something up. Like I wanted to see it F someone up, and I want to see it take over a body that, maybe could like fight back, maybe be devastating to watch this person get infiltrated. Also, as much as I hate the communication between Wendy and the xenomorph, I feel like it wasn't utilized great in this episode anyway. Like she was just doing her clicks from afar, and then it was like, I mean, she was kind of controlling it, but it wasn't like, look how threatening it is that she can control this thing. I don't know. I don't like it at all and whatever, but it was like it was kind of lackluster. It was like, oh, they're not doing anything with the xenomorph in that anyway. This was to me the worst episode of the whole series. Um, I remember when the series was going to start and they said, "Oh, there's going to be more xenomorph in this show than ever before. You're going to see more xenomorph." What we've seen about with the xenomorph in this, like I said, castrated, neutered. The show is an insult to the xenomorph, I think. I think it's an absolute insult. That's my note. And then I have here the xenomorph with this little xenomorph baby being all chill and tame. Fuck off. I was so mad. There was just I just found there's one episode I liked. The one like prequel-esque flashback episode. That episode was good. Again, it was the only one directed by the writer and I could feel it. In this episode, I'm like, he didn't direct this. Like you can tell right away, I'm like, he didn't direct this episode. Just the way it was handled. There was no horror in this series. There was no tension, not really much action. It wasn't really like a thriller and it just feels like this movie could have been done without the xenomorphs, and I wish it was. I wish it was just a a TV show that wish the series was created as something totally different, not involving alien or the xenomorphs at all. Have Itopus, have Plantopus, have all those other things. Make it a different show, but it would have been better without the xenomorphs. And I just found the writing was way too lazy and choppy. Not lots of things didn't connect the dots. Things weren't explained. The script wasn't great, and I highly disliked this show. One episode I liked. Everything else highly disliked. I can't believe I'd ever think xenomorphs weren't scary or cool or interesting, but they did it. They managed to do it.
They definitely neutered it. So now that we've gotten our all our individual rants out of the way. Before we close this out, real quickly, what's everyone's final score for the series? Marie,
3 out of 10.
Oh.
3 out of 10.
I would give it, well, maybe a 2.5. Just because I really don't like it and because I have to give it a little bit of stars because I like that one episode. Oh, and also, George, one more thing you were saying about like it being like biblical and like relating to like biblical stuff and like the things of Christ. I'm just also tired of like this mockery of Christianity. Like, get over it. Like stop mocking Christianity so much and stop shitting on it. Like, stop making the villains be like they're the Christ godlike people, but they're bad. Like, sorry, I'm like tired. Anyway, 2.5. 2.
George, what is your
Uh,
final score?
I like to point out that Marie started with a 2, and when we started this whole review, in the beginning you were
Mm.
at 2, and you went up to 0.5. So that's damn. Episode 5 was really good.
Yeah, episode 5 was good. I really enjoyed episode 5. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Uh, I mean, I started at 6, I think when we first started talking about this show. I feel like I gotta still be nice in the sense of like production value in the first 7 episodes had moments, like if you it's one of those things like what's a nice coat of paint on that car? You know, and that kind of thing going on. But man, writing was just so abysmal, and sometimes the acting fitted with certain characters, like those soldiers, that I think I'm at like a 5 or a 4. Yeah, probably 4. And I feel like I'm being very generous with that.
Why don't be generous. What does your heart say? What does your true
It's
heart's
it's
soul
because
say?
no, it's because for a TV show, the things they pulled off were good for a TV show, on the visual spectrum of things, and compared to a movie. And a movie, it could have and should have been much better. But for a TV show, you're like, oh, you never will get to see stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like if this was like on some other channel, it may have looked cheaper. Like it may have had a CW kind of feel, but it didn't. Like it was still high value at times. Like you said, episode 5, it felt like we were watching Alien you know
Yeah.
so it's like I gotta give credit to that kind of thing, so that's where all the praise, that 4 is going into like some good production, but the writing took away 6 freaking points.
Hmm.
Yeah, at the beginning of this, I was at about a 7.5 overall, and I felt that episode 5 was really good. I feel it built momentum into episode 6 and episode 7. And they just really dropped the ball in the end of the episode. And I think by the end of it, that dropped it down to about a 6 for me as a final score for like the series. There's still a lot of good things that were done during the series. There were also some flaws, but in the end, how you close matters, and they did not close well. But anyway, that is our opinions on this series and how we feel about it. I want to thank those of you who joined us for this bonus NAS episode. If you enjoyed this episode or want to catch up any of our previous ones, including ones about this show, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you're alerted regarding some of our future episodes when they drop. If you didn't enjoy it, wait, maybe you like some of our other ones. You can find our show on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, anywhere where you find podcasts. And if you love all of our amazing personalities or our anger or our rants or anything like that, or you just want to hate watch us, you can find us at Not a Strong Start on all social media platforms. I am Jose. You can find me at This Is Mi Nombre on Instagram.
I have been George. You can follow me at Nicolopoulos everywhere.
I am Marie, and if you like Alien Earth, I like that for you. And I'm sorry I don't like it. I swear I like other things. This just isn't it. And you can follow me at Marie Plays It All.
And as always, we might not always have a strong start, but we guarantee to sometimes, maybe, possibly have a strong finish, unlike this show.
Ow.